we go.
There we are.
I like that. That was professional. That was well done. It reminded me of some of my studio days. That's exactly how it was. Except one of the first things they tell you is to never ever reference what's going on before and after the show.
Oh.
I never understood that rule, and I violated it constantly.
Yeah, because like that's dumb to me. Pretending there's no like preamble that we don't hang out beforehand.
Exactly.
And that like at the end of it we're not going to sit around and talk for like maybe like 5 to 10 minutes afterward.
And that's what it was. Like, it's like they wanted to maintain the radio magic that you were just tuning in, and then here was this radio host who was just ready to talk to you. There was no setup. There's nobody else in the studio. And I never understood that because, like, people love behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
They love to see what goes on behind the scenes of movies. They love to see outtakes. They love to see all that kind of stuff. And I never understood that kind of old-timey radio sentiment, or even television sentiment. When I was at a TV studio for a while, they used to do the same thing. Like, don't talk about what we talked about before the show or anything like that. But people love that. Like, I'm here because I love to see what goes on behind the scenes. And believe me, some of the funniest people in the world are news anchors. When them cameras go off, oh boy, some of the stuff they were doing back and forth was absolutely hilarious and would get them fired.
Well, and we're here to out them all now.
That's right. That's what we're. Listen, I'm gonna blacklist myself from every industry right now.
This is a document that goes out to hundreds of people. Hundreds.
Please, tens of hundreds.
Tens of hundreds.
Exactly 1/10 of hundreds. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 305 of the Planet Destiny podcast, your guide to this week in Destiny. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a nice couple of weeks. We had quite a busy couple of weeks in the world of Destiny 2. We've got Guardian Games 2022 going on right now.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of information about some stuff that's going to be happening in Season 17. In particular, we learned a bit about how some of your ritual weapons are going to be changing, the ritual weapons we're going to be getting access to, and the ones that are going to be going away. And we're going to be talking about all of that and more here on tonight's show. But of course, joining us tonight, we've got our usual roundtable of hosts, starting with the one, the only, the perfectly coiffed hair, Mr. Nim Plays. Not that anybody can see it, by the way.
No, not today. Keeping that to myself today.
Oh yes, yeah. This is the boy band. Yeah, it's the boy band Dan show. You know, we had Nim and I actually have our cameras on. Dan just put these pictures over them because he doesn't want anybody but him to be seen.
You guys should have showered beforehand. You should have showered beforehand.
Yeah,
I said take a shower. I messaged you guys at like 4:30. I was like, take a shower. You
were hinting at it like, hey man,
no.
This is a great time to go take a shower.
Yeah.
And I didn't listen. I came in here with all that funk.
Well, here's my secret. I didn't either.
Well,
traitor!
You naturally smell like, what's the most pleasant woodland smell you can imagine?
Oh, okay.
It's not pine. But looking at you, because you have like that lumberjack light farm boy sort of look. And you can't even say anything about it because that's how you grew up.
Oh,
so I'd imagine you smell like some rosewood or something like that.
You ever smell the farm, TBO?
Yes, my uncle. We're already way off the weeds with Destiny 2, but my uncle actually owned a ranch that I used to go and work on during the summers sometime. And good God.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Chickens are the worst smelling thing in the world.
Oh,
the only thing worse is chickens and cows. When they come together, it's pretty bad.
I've got stories about goats that are not appropriate for this stream.
I've never sniffed a goat.
Okay.
I have sniffed a pig.
Okay.
Didn't smell bad, to be honest. It smelled better than the chickens.
Can we clip it? I have sniffed a pig.
I have sniffed a pig. I'll own it. You don't need to clip it. I'll say it again. I've sniffed a pig. Got all up in that thing.
That's good that was clean. That's going in the clips on my stream later. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, but speaking of...
If it's anything like me, you'll live through that soundbite for the next several years.
I gotta re-add that one in.
Oh no, you really don't. I appreciate the thought though.
No, I'm getting this stream taken down right now.
Yeah.
No one's allowed to clip this. But either way, Mr. Dan Finity, welcome to the show. Good to have you here, buddy.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here as always, and I'm glad
Yeah,
I'm glad that I got to replace that other guy, Dan. What a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Farm Boy Dan's a absolute improvement.
Yeah, absolutely, hands down.
And of course, I am the Black Link. And with that, let's go ahead and dive on into some of the things going on. Have either of y'all been playing some Destiny over the last week or two?
Yes.
I actually have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
So-
of course, we had Guardian games go live, right?
Yeah.
Spring event coming back. I think this is what, the third year in a row that they've done the Guardian games sort of spring event formula.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it feels like the most successful version of it, right?
I would hard agree with that.
Yeah. This is the one iteration of Guardian games where I feel like I've actually participated towards something
Yeah.
Yeah.
instead of just like actively doing bounties or like triumphs on stuff that like has already been out there.
Yeah,
But,
it
like-
doesn't feel like Bounty Sim.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like the simple introduction of like the training playlist and the competitive playlist to get scores, which was strike scoring from D1.
Mhm.
I don't know, it just makes you feel like work towards, that bigger number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would say that's a part of the things that I like about Guardian games this time around. First things first, like Dan said, I'm glad it's not just a bounty farming simulator, because that's what it boiled down to in previous years. You wanted the most efficient way to grind through, you grab as many bounties as you can from as many sources as you can, you head solo into some activity and you just clear all those out.
Yeah.
Whereas this time around, of course, there are bounties, but you have those contender cards that will reward you if you go and play in the new game mode that Bungie added in with that enhanced Vanguard playlist, with both the training and the training, the recreational, and the competitive playlists. I love that the focus is on strikes. I do have one or two issues with it that we'll, of course, cover over the course of the stream here. But I love that they basically encouraged you to go into this game mode. It's more of a team-focused thing. It incentivizes you to actually stick around and run the strike. Not speed run the strike, but actually run the strike and kill everything to get the highest score possible. And I love that they give you buffs for doing so. I think that was a great way to incentivize people to play in this new Vanguard playlist.
No, I agree. Again, it's like in previous times, like Guardian games felt like it was a Eververse up like refresh, to kind of like look at. And while like largely the fact still remains, and there are some cosmetics that you can get by participating in Guardian games this time around, it just feels like there's something to do this time.
Right. I see in the chat saying it's a different bounty sim, and that's true. It is definitely still a bounty sim because
Yeah.
contender cards are just bounties. But I feel more incentivized to actually go and run that content. Like when I wasn't doing the whole Nightfall spam to get score up and to basically farm out platinum medals, I was doing lost sectors.
Yeah.
I like that you can go do lost sectors. I actually, for the first time ever, ran a master and legend lost sector with a friend rather than just solo, and we were farming a couple of those out on the moon to get some of that done. I actually feel like I can go and play really whatever sort of content I want, and actually get some decent rewards and actually contribute towards my team. My team, of course, being Warlock. For this year's event,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate that. It feels better than just loading into the same section and doing the same couple of bounties over and over again. I like the offerings this time around.
Yeah.
Nim, are you Warlock too? Are you breaking against your main, or are you going for main?
Bro,
Okay.
come on,
Bro.
Dan.
Okay.
Dan,
Bro.
come on,
Bro.
Come
Okay,
on.
so I take that
Come
as
on.
yes. I'm gonna take that as yes.
Yep, of course.
So that means
of
that
course.
we're all three Team Warlock on this, because I'm only Warlock
Good.
this Guardian games because I was like, I don't know which one to go for, so
the correct choice.
I'm going to put that up to Twitch Twitter to decide, and they decided Warlock. So here we are.
Well, you picked the right team because Warlock seemed to be running away with it, curiously enough, this time around. I am.
Damn time.
I mean, yeah, but okay, we might there might be some controversy here. There might be a few lawsuits and some demands of a recount at the end of this.
Oh, fuck off! It's been 2 years, one of each. Let us no.
I'm just saying. I'm counting the ballots here, and the numbers are coming up a little weird. It's a little odd that Warlocks are so far in the lead.
So I didn't want to say anything, but my uncle works as a janitor at Bungie. I think we all know this, and I've been having him hit the button that says number go up for Warlocks every time he walks past that room. There's one solitary room that is just for, this is true, by the way, not at all sarcastic. There's a room that is just for Guardian games, and my uncle goes in there on his night shift, and he just hits the button for Warlocks as many times as he needs in order to get that number up. So
just to get the Warlock flag up a little bit higher than everybody else, you slide him a nice crispy fiver.
Well,
you just
I mean that's how we met. My uncle and I met on Fiverr.
Awkward.
No, you know what?
That's another story for another time. We don't.
I've seen worse sold on Fiverr. At least this business deal has come out in my favor. But yeah, I overall I like it. I think it's been a fun time going around. I like a lot of the things about Guardian games. I like the title, the SMG that they put in it. I think Bungie was being very specific when they made this thing and specifically did not put Demolitionist on it. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of fun with it, and I appreciate that it's actually made me kind of go and run through strikes. Though I feel a little bit bad, and I don't know if maybe I'm the only person who does this, but I do all of my contender cards and bounties and activity completions on Warlock. But I farm up all of my motes on either Titan or Hunter because I find it so much easier to just jump on Titan, throw on Insurmountable Skullford, load up Grasp of Avarice, and just shoulder charge for 5 minutes to get 500 motes. It's like, well, I did all this.
My guy.
Yeah?
Verity's Brow exists.
It does.
And you can get your grenade back and your super back like goddamn near instantaneously.
This is true.
You are doing extra work, my friend.
I mean, have you tried it though? It's kind of fun to just go in the beginning section of that dungeon and shoulder charge, explode everything, or go on Hunter where you can just sit there and what is that Void 3.0 thing that is basically Shatter Dive, makes you invisible?
Oh. Dude.
Whatever that move is. Just doing that constantly. I don't know. But I just feel a little guilty because I go and I feel like I go and I load up my Hunter who's starry-eyed and is like, finally, I'm going to get to participate in Guardian games. Haven't even started the quest on him, by the way. And I just take him into Grasp, farm up a bunch of motes. Thanks, kid. Right back to Warlock.
I was actually using I was talking to you earlier, TBL, that I was farming out some of the exotics that I hadn't had drop from any of the lost sectors.
Yeah.
And I was grabbing the platinum, the lost sector, the mission or quest the entire time because I was just like, oh, only 2 runs of this, and I'm farming plats the entire time.
So
Hell
easy.
Yeah. So
I love
easy.
it.
And like, especially on Master, and like. In that, I got the Osmiomancy gloves and the Lorelei helmet for a Titan. It's freaking stupid how awesome it is.
It's great. And and I appreciate that. I like that lost sectors were an activity that you could run for this. And if you're somebody who's a little sick of running the Nightfall the Nightfall and the training or the competitive playlist, definitely go do Legend or Master Lost Sectors. You can clear out one of those contender cards in like 2 runs. A lot of the Lost Sectors in the game right now take 2, maybe 3 minutes to get through a lot of them, all but really the hardest and longest of them. And it makes for a pretty good alternative farm if you don't just want to keep grabbing Nightfall contender cards.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed it. I really loved running through the Lost Sector grind, doing it solo. You know, of course, I was able to farm up a bunch of exotics and all that kind of stuff. It just felt like time well spent, and that's what I appreciate about this this event itself. I think in previous years, after a certain threshold, it didn't really feel like time well spent. It felt like I was jumping on to bang my head against a bunch of bounties and then not really get much of a reward for it. Whereas this time around, you've got a lot of options, and I've enjoyed it.
It's kept me engaged too.
Yeah.
Which Guardian Games keeping you engaged? What? That's
right.
Makes no sense.
Have y'all been actively trying to go for the 10% emblem?
I haven't. I didn't even do competitive
passively?
the first week.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
didn't work out.
I've gone and done the quest and all that and gotten my plats and all that for the first 2 weeks, but I haven't really tried to go for the top 10%. I saw that you've been doing some number farming there, Nim.
Yeah. I've actually been pretty involved with my friend Jules in that playlist. The first week, I think we for like the light blade.
Yeah.
As a fire team of 3, we got like 324, I want to say, as our highest.
That's pretty good.
And for this particular week, we 2-manned it, and we got 361.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah,
I think I stopped at 270 something.
It took a lot of like coordination between the two of us because we were both running the fragment where you become invisible after doing the finisher. So our like synergy was I would take care of stunning the champions and whittling down the yellows, like the ultras, to finisher state, and she would go use the finisher and emote and finish them to get both of
bonus points.
To get those medals. So that's what we would do. So I'm not sure if y'all know, but there's like a cooldown on that. I think it's like after 3 emotes and finishers, like the game just doesn't recognize your next emote.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So once, because like you have to see it pop up on the bottom left of the screen, you know, like Manplay dances or whatever. Right. After a while, like after you do 3 of them, it just doesn't show up. And if you do the finisher, it won't count it. So we were losing a lot of points that way. And we ended up alternating. So every time that she was getting locked out, I would switch over and start emoting and finishing the enemies.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a really, really like synergistic back and forth that we had. And by the end of the run, we had like 361,000. We're like, oh my God, we actually did it. Because the one before that, we were at 359, and I was so upset. I'm like, I wanted that 360 because we were like literally like 850 points away from it, but we ended up getting it at the end of the day.
Well, that's a good play. You know, I was going to ask you to share your strategies for getting points up, but I think you just did it in a beautiful way. Getting those emotes before getting the before finishing an opponent is really, really important. It's a lot of bonus points you can get, and for anybody who's out there trying to farm their way up to that, I definitely keep that in mind in future weeks. But that actually brings me to an aspect of Guardian Games that I wanted to bring up with you guys. If there was one thing that I kind of dislike about this year's Guardian Games, it's that in that training and competitive playlist, I got a little tired of running the same strike all week long. I understand why they wouldn't want to have a huge rotating strike, because they want you to basically, literally, train on the strike so you learn where all the champions are, where all the enemies are, so that when the competitive comes out on the weekend, you know exactly where to go. You have a plan in place. You can maximize your score. But man, after running Lightblade and, what was this week's? the Vial, Birthplace of the Vial. After running them so many times, and it has to be over 20, maybe even 30 times between the two of them.
It
I
was
kind of wish
it was Proving Grounds, I believe.
or Proving Grounds,
Yeah,
right?
Proving Grounds was this one.
Oh my God, yeah, the tank. Oof. You know what? And that was
So
frustrating
that-
because you
that
have to
room
make
in
sure
par-
you have to make
Yeah.
sure you finish things and emote to actually get the score threshold.
So that room in particular with the tanks was interesting because so the moment you drop, you have two scions, right? Like two scion
Yeah.
snipers
Yeah.
on the
Up
top,
on the top left and right.
Right, yeah. So the moment that we would drop into that room, we would prime those scions and immediately take care of them, and just like whittle down the rest of the ads. Trinity Ghoul, by the way,
Oh, yeah.
Still the best in the game.
Trinity Ghoul. You're welcome. Secrets out there.
Yeah.
But no, that room was rough. Also, and I don't know if because that strike has a lot going on for it, but it is. We ran into so much like jank
Yeah.
while doing some of those runs. We had instances where, in the room where you have to put in both of the battery cores in the terminals.
Yep.
Yeah.
The champion that was in there was bugging out on us like a lot. There's one point where my friend went down and I'm going to go res her because I see that the champion on my end is standing behind a pillar.
Yeah.
But I go res her and something boops me out of the way and kills me. I get her res, but then I see that the shield pops up on top of me. Meanwhile, he's standing on the other side of the room.
Schrodinger's
like-
champion.
Yeah.
He's both there and not there.
Yeah. So that was really, really frustrating because we kept running into
Yeah.
things like that with enemies teleporting at like everywhere. And
Yeah.
it was a rough time, but oh man, when we got that score, oh
Yeah, I wouldn't even want to look at that strike after getting 360,000.
yeah.
I barely wanted to look at it after getting a 1 platinum in it. Which again rolls back to my problem. I wouldn't want it to be on like a Vanguard style rotation, but I think maybe a daily rotator wouldn't have been awful if it was maybe between 2 or 3 strikes, just so you're not
Yeah.
playing the same strike every single day of the week. That was that running through the platinum quest more than once kind of wore me down on that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I did, like I said, that's pretty much the only complaint that I fostered for Guardian games this time around, which I think is an incredible improvement over last year and the year before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
But all right, do
I
we have any
think-
other? Go ahead.
I think the only other thing that I would just still suggest that I would love to see in future iteration of Guardian games is, and I know it'll never happen, but I want to see those armor drops become part of the rewards that you get
Yeah.
out of it, and not something
Yeah.
that's like tied to Eververse. Just because, I mean, again, I know that they've put out some cool cosmetics, like the shader and the ship, are pretty awesome this time around.
Yeah.
They are. That's cool stuff.
The
Yeah,
shader
they look
especially.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it looks really good on the Valve the Disciple weapons. It looks incredible. But I really wish like those armor sets would become available as like rewards.
And
Yeah.
that's something you, in particular, I think that's something you've championed for years here
For
on
the
this
longest
show.
time. On every for every seasonal event. Like
Yeah.
reward the player for playing during that time. You know what I mean?
And I absolutely agree with you. I think I think you put that stuff into the event itself. I like that it's available for Bright Dust. I'm glad Bungie does that. But I think put some of that stuff in as the grind reward for the event itself.
Right.
I would take the armor set over the ship and the Sparrow. And
Oh, me
Yeah.
too.
all that.
Me
I
too.
would
And the
like-
armor set this year is incredible.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good looking stuff. So yeah, I 100% on board with that. Dan, do you have any complaints about Guardian games?
My complaint about Guardian games is that I haven't been able to get a stats for all, one for all title. I've had the title drop probably 150, 200,000 times, and none of them have been that. So that is my big complaint. Uncle Janitor, I'm looking at you.
Push the button.
Push the button.
Uncle Big Dan.
Yeah.
Is that like the role to get? Because my friend was after that one, Stats for All, One for All. Like, are they messing around with those like perks, or what's going on?
It's a role to get. It's just something that is personally for me. I really enjoy that on. I have a Viced with that on it, and it's stupid. It's
Stats for All, One for All is a very good perk combination.
Yeah, and especially on that Viced auto rifle.
Yeah,
it is.
It's nasty.
Everything just
the
choose,
crate.
man. Yeah, everything choose with that, and it's that is my like ad wave go to, because I know it's like I'm always gonna have Stats for All. I'm always gonna have One for All up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's great.
Great combination.
Yeah, and
I
so
think beyond that,
people in chat were talking about using it for like GMs and stuff. So like.
Yeah. I think that it's going to fit in. It fits into in game pretty darn well.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a more PvP minded person, you want to keep an eye out for like maybe Perpetual Motion, Swashbuckler. That's probably one of the better PvP or combinations you can get. But overall, I like the title. I think the title's good. I've had a lot of fun grinding for it. I've gotten some decent rolls of it. You know, as a warlock, we're the ones getting all the double perk tree rolls right now.
No joke.
And I'll take it. I will take it. But does anybody else have anything to say? Any other thoughts on Guardian games?
No, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
Could be better, but I'm pretty happy with it. It's
Do we give it a thumbs up this year?
This year, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to see
give
strike
Guardian
scoring
games a
stick
thumbs up.
around.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
big time.
absolutely.
100%.
100%. I think that's a fun mechanic, and I love the buff that we got with it. The gold contender buff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun in those in the recreational training and comp playlist. There's a lot of good stuff there. And you know, the other good thing about Guardian games this time around is it doesn't feel like it's sticking around past its welcome.
No,
It's a 3-week event. On week number 3, nobody even really is thinking about how tired they are of Guardian games. Why? Because season 17 is right around the corner. For those who don't know, this coming week is the last week before an entirely new season of content in Destiny 2, meaning it's probably going to be a pretty big news week.
yeah.
And I like that. It's happening right at the end of Guardian games. So right when you're getting tired of Guardian games, season 17 is coming right in. It's good stuff. But speaking of season 17, we've got a little bit of news concerning that season to talk about here. In particular, I think we wanted to start off a bit with some of the ritual weapons that we'll be getting with season 17. We're going to be having some returning favorites, but we're also going to be losing access to some of the ones we've got right now. And we thought it was important to kind of cover some of this as a reminder for anybody who may be looking to grind some of this stuff out before it goes away in a week or so. Fingers crossed for Palindrome being the Nightfall reward this week. But there will be a list of weapons that are going to be leaving once Season 17 begins on May, I think it's 24th?
May 24th. So it starts in like 2 weeks? Like
Yep.
little less than, well, it's like a week and a half.
A week and a half.
Change.
We're getting there. But first off, for the Iron Banner, the Occluded Finality Sniper Rifle is going to be going away, as well as the Finite Impactor Iron Banner Hand Cannon. If you don't know what the Finite Impactor is, it's a really bad hand cannon that only works when you have one very specific role under one very specific setup. And that role was like heating up Focused Fury or something like that. Most people didn't get it. Most people trashed it immediately. And you were right for doing so. In terms of Nightfall weapons, Season 17, we're going to be losing access to the Comedian Shotgun as well as the Palindrome Hand Cannon. That is a heavy blow. Palindrome is one of the best hand cannons in the game right now. And I do believe we're supposed to be getting our last chance at farming it this coming week for the Nightfall. 100% would recommend that you dive into the training playlist for Guardian games and just go farm that out. There's a lot of really good roles for the Palindrome. It's great in PvE, great in PvP, but it's going to be going away after this coming week. And that makes me a big sad. Did you guys ever wind up getting a God roll version of Pally?
Nope. I honestly haven't really played enough Nightfalls to do so.
Yeah.
I have a few really good rolls, or had a few really good rolls. I'll have to check my vault to see make sure that I still have some after like some vault shenanigans because of charity. But yeah, I believe I had a couple of pretty good ones. I never found myself gravitating toward it though. So like
Really?
I don't PvP.
That's fair.
In PvE, hand cannons really haven't had, like, unless they were like a champion mod weapon,
Right.
they really don't have, unless you have an affinity for those types of weapons, there's no real reason to run it to fill a puzzle piece in the champion puzzle that is. And so yeah, I really didn't focus on it. If I got a cool one, I was like, okay, I'm going to put that away for a little bit and like see what happens. But it's always been a rainy day weapon. It hasn't been the thing that I've really pushed for. There was a hand cannon from Gambit. Was it the bottom dollar?
Bottom dollar, yes.
I like that one a lot. So I don't know. I don't think they're the same archetype, but
I think bottom dollar was a 120.
Think so. But
you know what? Hold on. I've got a bottom dollar in my vault. Let me take a quick look.
Do it. Take a quick look.
I'm fairly certain that was one of the last 120s we got. Yeah, here it is. Bottom dollar, Outlaw Dragonfly. Yeah, it was a 120.
Yeah. So
and yes, I did include the roll there just to make somebody out there salty.
But yeah, that's more my speed. And so that I was more. I'm using that more than I would Palindrome.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
And that makes sense. If you're not somebody who plays a lot of PvP, then you likely haven't really thought about grinding out for one. But if you are somebody who enjoys hand cannons in PvP, Palindrome, I don't know what it is about that gun, but it just feels so much better than so many of the other PvP hand cannons out there right now. There's a reason if you jump into Crucible. But it's basically that and like the Cantata 57 that you're running into all over the place. Those are two real good hand cannons. And so again, if you want another chance at farming it, your last chance for the time being is going to be this coming week. If you're hearing this during the week of what's reset, May 17th, 2022, go farm this right now. It's going to be your last chance to get it. It's going away next week. There's also some Trials weapons that are going to be leaving as well, including Shayura's Wrath, the legendary submachine gun, and the Messenger. Two other weapons you're probably going to want to get your hands on. Shayura's Wrath is a very, very good 600 RPM submachine gun, though if you are somebody who shies away from Trials, there are alternatives out there. Of course, you know, in a different archetype, we have everybody's favorite little monster, the Funnel Web. That's a great one. It's a 900 RPM. But if you're looking for specifically 600 RPM, Every Waking Moment is one of the moon like prophecy or ritual weapons or whatever you can go pick up at the altar next to Eris Morn. You can farm that out. It's really easy to get. It has some really serviceable rolls and stats that are not quite as good as Shayura's, but almost as good. Definitely a great other option if you're unable to get Shayura's Wrath. As for the Messenger, good pulse rifle. Really, the big reason to get it is, of course, Desperado. But it looks like Bungie's going to be taking the Desperado perk and adding it to other weapons in the future. They hinted at that a few twabs back, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it. I think that's it for the stuff that's leaving in Season 17, right? I know we got a list of stuff that's leaving in Season 18, but I think we can cross that bridge in another 3 months.
And the weapons that are coming in... playlist weapons, we have Riptide Fusion Rifle, Deadweight Shotgun in Gambit, and then the Strident Whistle Bow in Vanguard playlists. For Nightfall drops, we're going to have Horror's Least Pulse Rifle and the DFA hand cannon coming in.
I'm really, really excited about that. Sorry to interrupt. It makes me happy when I hear about it because DFA was my number one primary back. I think DFA dropped in Curse of Osiris? And it was pretty much my favorite primary weapon for the longest time. So them bringing it back brings a huge smile to my face.
We also have the Trials playlist. We'll be getting the Forgiveness sidearm and Burden of Guilt fusion rifle.
Ooh. Fusion, you say?
Yes.
And
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold up. What archetype?
It doesn't say.
I don't know if that's is that a
Okay.
new weapon or is it a return weapon? I'm pretty sure it's new.
It's a new one.
I would say that's
It's new.
And the sidearm would be too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like what kind of archetype do you believe it's gonna be, Nem?
Rapid fire.
I would say you're probably right about that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so we have those coming in. With season 17, we also have should we talk about Iron Banner?
I think we should, because there's going to be some stuff coming to that too.
Yeah, we got so the TWAB this past week we had a dump of information concerning how Iron Banner is going to be changing soon. First big thing out the gate, they're taking it basically they're keeping it out of the in-game activities pool, which is kind of a crazy thing.
Yeah, they're taking away the power level, right?
Mhm.
That's a major change.
Removing the power
That's kind
level.
of huge.
The bounties will be deprecated, and there will be one pinnacle that comes out of it, but Saladin or Brachus Forge will be along the same lines of like Shaxx and Saint 14 in his leveling up.
Right. They're going to be giving him the same reputation and reward system that Saint 14 and Shaxx have now.
Yeah, that's going to be very cool. And I like the way that they explained it, like just kind of like breaking down the barriers between players who want to take part in it, and just evening that out. That makes sense.
Right.
Because how many Iron Banners have you guys played this season?
No,
I've actually
not a lot.
I've played a good amount this season.
I played like the first one, and then every other one that's come around, I've been like,
Nah.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I did the first one for Pinnacles. Then I remembered I don't run GMs. I don't need Pinnacles, and then I didn't do it again. Yeah, then I didn't continue to do so. But I am excited in a way about Iron Banner not having power level requirements anymore.
That's a nice change.
It is a nice change. I'm expecting to see a lot of good old classic favorites from PvP come out to play a little bit. So
yeah, I'm sitting here looking at Not Forgotten right now.
Do you think that's going to be an issue? That's
what I was looking at too.
Do you think that weapon is going to be an issue? So Benji
I don't think
posted
so.
like a long thread about that, where
it's going to be no different than regular PvP.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see that. You don't see those weapons in regular PvP right now. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be nice to bring out the nostalgia bits. I don't think it's going to last longer than the first week of the first Iron Banner of the season.
It won't. Like, I mean, again, like, there's the only special thing about Iron Banner was that it had like the power level difference in it, and you were, and I'm using this word very loosely, restricted in what you could bring in. But now it's just control with extra spice.
Yeah.
With
is it
points?
Is it control?
Oh no, sorry. It's not going to be control in the near future, because what's coming back? What's coming back?
We got Rift, baby.
We got Rift, baby.
It's coming back.
Returning from D1 in all of its team-based Guardian football splendor, Rift is coming to an Iron Banner near. This was an interesting surprise in this week's TWAB. And I think it's something, it definitely addresses something we've talked about here on this show for years, in that D2 Iron Banner needs a game mode refresh. I love that Saladin's getting a reputation refresh. I love that he's gonna get the same engram focusing system as Saint 14. That's all great. But Iron Banner, the game mode, has gotten so tired. I was so tired of Control every single time. And them bringing back Rift is an interesting move forward, especially with the kind of crazy lane control and movement options that we have here in Destiny 2 versus what we had in D1. Rift is going to be ridiculous, especially the first week as everybody's trying to figure out a metagame for it. Oh, yeah. It's going to be absolutely silly.
I will be right back, gentlemen. Keep the conversation going.
Not a problem.
He's got to change his pants.
You mentioned Rift and he's got to get out of here.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hate it here. I'll be right back.
But yeah, I'm very excited about Rift coming back. It doesn't sound like you're going to be able to pass the ball around, which is fine.
Yeah.
It is fine. It's a little disappointing because I was just like, Kobe.
They have the functionality.
Yeah,
you have the functionality for it.
Yeah, it would have been so cool. It would have been awesome. But I'm for them experimenting with Iron Banner and finally being like, okay, yes, it does need game modes. And like, it sounds like this is something that was slated for a later time, maybe in this year. But I think this is the first kind of like big PvP change we've seen out of this promise of a renewed focus on PvP.
Yeah.
So yeah, if like I remember back in D1, Rift was fun. In Iron Banner, although like could be like steamrolled pretty heavy.
Yeah, that's gonna be the next part of the conversation here.
Yeah. Control was its own monster. I kind of want to see Clash come back for it.
100%.
Supremacy would actually be fun. It's been so many years since I've seen a Supremacy game.
Yeah, bring me the medals back, please.
Yeah. Well, and I understand why they took that out, but like I think it's due for like coming back around. This opens the gate for more game modes going forward for Iron Banner, and I'm very excited about it.
And that's the big takeaway here for me. Bungie's trying something different with Iron Banner, and it hopefully means that this is going to be the first step of many when it comes to diversifying the game modes that we're actually playing in Lord Saladin's magnum opus here. Mm-hmm. I like Rift. Rift was a lot of fun in D1. Like I said before, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the new movement options and all of the kind of crazy lane control and shutdown skills we have now are going to interact with Rift. Mm-hmm. I think Stasis is going to be a real problem child in the Rift game mode. But I'm very much looking forward to trying it out. We've got a new map to try it out on.
Mm-hmm. Our first new map.
Our first new map. As, again, part of that renewed focus, air quote, on PvP. We are getting a brand new map. It takes place in Savathun's throne world. Looks pretty neat. They say it's one of their largest maps yet, but it's made up of basically 2 large areas, a 3-lane section in the middle, so it's kind of like a classic Bungie map. I love it. Its name is Disjunction, and it's going to be another thing that's going to be dropping alongside Season 17. Very excited about that. And if there was a concern I have here, it's going to be this. Part of the problem with Iron Banner, Control and Iron Banner, is that it's a heavily team-focused game mode. You got to coordinate, you got to capture points, then you got to get kills. Yeah, sure, if you're with an absolute squad of lords just going up against the most thumbless of Timmies, yeah, you can you can let them take every point and just outkill them. Mm-hmm. But in Rift is an entirely objective-focused game mode. So if you've got no team coordination in Control, you're going to have a bad time in Rift, where it's all team coordination. That I'm a little concerned with. Just a little bit.
So that was one of the things that back in Destiny 1 always kind of like annoyed me. Because don't get me wrong, just to preface this, I'm excited to see Rift return in D2. But when it was Iron Banner in specific in D1, it was frustrating because if you were solo queuing in there, that's a game mode where as you mentioned, you need team synergy in order to succeed because it's an objective-based game mode, and we're running with blueberries that weren't up to par. Was a frustrating experience.
Yeah, and that's going to be that's turned up to 11 when it comes to the Rift game mode because there's a lot to coordinate there.
Yeah.
You've got to coordinate who's going to be grabbing the Rift, who's going to be taking it away from the enemy team. You have to literally protect them as they're making their way into the enemy camp to go and slam there. Of course, as you're moving your way into the enemy camp and you're taking out the other team members, they're going to be spawning behind their Rift. The game literally puts them behind their Rift so they can come in and defend it as kind of that final push into the end zone there. Yep. It took a lot of coordination to get through in D1. And while it wound up being a pretty fun game mode overall when you're playing with your friends, in a solo environment, it could be really frustrating if you just had a team that just could not get it together. Because again, the only way to score is with the Rift. Kills don't mean anything in it.
Yep. So again, I'm excited as a very Blinky boy.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's gonna be cracked.
yeah. I'm very excited to go in there with with an astrocyte verse that works and it isn't scuffed from the get-go like it was in Destiny 1. And one of the cool things is, for those that played Rift back in D1, y'all remember the backflip?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's returning.
Oh, what?
One of the developers mentioned on Twitter that because somebody asked them if the backflip was coming back when you dunked.
Yeah,
and it sure is.
Excellent, top tier.
So now you get to style on people even harder.
Yep, and that's what happens. I'm excited because I'm glad we're getting a new game mode in here. I'm glad Bungie is experimenting with things with the Iron Banner. We're not going to really have time to kind of get tired of it since Iron Banner, of course, is seeing a schedule change. It's no longer going to be like a once a month or sometimes even twice a month thing. It's going to be twice a season.
I dig that.
Do you? Okay, so what do you like about that?
I think absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
Especially for Iron Banner. Like, if it coming around and being an event is kind of what it needs. It was kind of that way in Destiny 1, right? Like, when Saladin was in the tower, you were just like, oh shit, like, it's on. Like, this week I know what I'm doing. And in Destiny 2, it's like, it happens so often that it doesn't really feel special. So I can see them using this as a way to cultivate that kind of special feeling around it again. Because in D1, it was my clan, and I would just hop into it and run rampant.
Train.
Like that was what that week was all for.
It felt like more of an event.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair enough. I think you've got a point there. And Bungie even mentioned that in the TWAP. They basically said they want this to be more of its own kind of event rather than just kind of this extra PvP game mode that's around too much for you to actually miss it. Mm-hmm. And I can dig that. I can definitely dig that. But yeah, I think those are all the big changes coming with Iron Banner next season. And I do believe the first Iron Banner will be starting not the week of Season 17, but I think the second week of the season is when the first Iron Banner is supposed to be going live. And I'll definitely be diving in. I'm really interested in seeing how Rift is going to play. And I see a question about specialist Rift builds. What's going to be happening with runner, blockers, clears? I think you're going to be seeing stasis for blockers. Yeah. People who are basically running along and protecting the person with the Rift. Oh my goodness. Behemoth.
Bleak Watchers. I can see Bleak Watchers playing a huge role in that.
Nim is going to have Bleak Watcher turrets literally set up on every hallway, especially now that we've got Ozymancy gloves. Behemoth Titans with all of the Hoarfrost C spam going on right now. That is going to be an absolute nightmare, and I kind of can't wait for it. And then, of course, you've got hunters who can turn everybody invisible. Rift is going to be wild. The abilities that we have access to in the game right now are just going to make it, in my opinion, so much more interesting of a game mode in D2 than it was in D1. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's
Really
gonna be
can't
interesting
wait.
for sure.
But all right.
Yeah.
Is that it for Iron Banner stuff?
I believe that is. I just noticed this though. In season 17, they're also bringing back zone control to Crucible.
Right. Yeah. That we haven't seen that for
really?
a while.
Yeah.
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 I liked that one a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, zone control is a lot of fun. For those who don't remember, maybe you're a newer Guardian, never played it. Zone control is a variant of control where kills don't really matter.
Yeah.
The way you earn points is by taking capture points, and as you own capture points, your team is just constantly building up score. So you're incentivized to take as many points as you can and hold them for as long as possible.
Yeah.
It was a good variation of, and Bungie created it after everybody was complaining about people just kill farming in control rather than playing the OBJ.
Yeah.
And zone control wound up being a rather interesting variation of it. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I liked it a lot. It's just specifically for that reason.
Yeah.
Because, you'd had no shade to any content creators out there, but though there's a lot of people that take great pleasure in six stacking and control and just not getting any zones and just going ham.
Yeah, last
And,
Iron Banner, I got farmed like that. It felt bad.
It feels real bad, man.
It spawned me into a game in progress. I don't know I don't know who Bungie thinks I am. Apparently, Bungie thinks I'm the greatest player in history. Because it spawned me against the six stack of dudes who did not have KDRs under 4.
Oh no!
There was no way I was saving that team.
I'll let my janitor uncle know.
Yeah, tell them to I don't know what they have on my account that I'm some kind of platinum star, top tier player. Take that off. That's not me.
The room across from the Guardian Games room is the room that specifically controls your matchmaking. I don't know if you've ever
just
been
my
to Bungie.
matchmaking.
Yeah,
It just says TBL matchmaking.
I don't know if anybody's been to Bungie here, but Bungie is made up of thousands and thousands, about approximately a couple million rooms that each have buttons that are designated for each person. They have to add on to Bungie every time somebody starts playing the game. It's pretty expensive to do that. It's interesting that they got that deal with Sony.
Yeah, it's an odd setup, but Sony's paying for it.
Yeah.
You'd think there'd be a better way, but
Yeah.
the rooms work, I guess.
They own most of Washington State.
all of Washington is just Bungie HQ. You have to keep expanding.
But yeah. That's cool. Kellyanne brings up kill confirmed. We said it earlier. It was Supremacy.
Yeah, I miss Supremacy.
I do too. For those who remember long in the before times, Supremacy was they used to have in the Crucible playlist. It would just be a rotator of every different mode that was available, and Supremacy came up a lot. I want to say it was every other game mode.
Yeah,
and it really pissed people off.
And it makes me sad because I liked Supremacy.
Yeah.
That was when it wasn't Control. That's when it was the Quick Play playlist.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Quick play.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to segment you out into the different game modes.
Mm-hmm.
They just wanted you to play the Quick Play playlist.
Oh boy, am I glad we're gone from those days.
Well, are we? Because we have the Strike playlist, or is now the Vanguard playlist that involves some of our previous activities from last year's stuff, right?
But that's just a way to get you to actually play Battlegrounds.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody was clicking that Battlegrounds playlist.
That's true. You're correct.
Yeah, but I do miss Supremacy though, because that was if you were someone who wanted to farm supers in a non-mayhem game mode, Supremacy was it, because you got energy for picking up like the moats and all that kind of stuff. It was I love that game mode. It was a lot of fun.
Well, now that the nostalgia is over, shall we get into questions?
Let's do it.
All right. Mr. Killian out the rip. Have we confirmed if Solar or Arc are next in the subclass revamp? They haven't said anything, right?
Still no confirmations yet. Yeah.
There's plenty of rumor, but there's no confirmation.
Mm-hmm. A lot of speculation, yeah.
We will almost certainly be finding out this week. Given it's the week before a new season, we'll probably get a trailer on Monday. The TWAB this week is absolutely going to have information about the storyline and all the kind of stuff we'll be doing next season. And Solar 3.0 or Arc 3.0 is probably going to be a large part of that. Do you guys want to do? Well, let's take some predictions here. Nim, what do you think it's going to be?
I'm going to go with Solar.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Dan?
Just to be different from Nim, I'm going to say Arc.
So he also thought Solar. Noted, Chet.
No, covering our bases here.
I mean, the possibility, it's 50-50. Like, in each one, like, if either of them are as cool as Void 3.0, which I'm assuming they are.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be some interesting builds come out of it. And I'm excited for both sides. When it comes to Arc, though, I'm excited to see like where they build off of the specifically the conduction of the spear from the psyops.
Yeah.
Because that they said that was built as a test of what was possibly coming with Arc 3.0.
Yeah.
I would love, like, it would make sense to me if Arc 3.0 was next, so that they could kind of like use that as a flight test for maybe some of the stronger things,
right?
That they were going to see.
And see, that's actually one of the reasons why I think it might be the last one.
Okay.
Because if they're using this season to test something out,
far
you know
enough
what I mean?
on a timeline. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it's that's I'm excited either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I kind of hope we don't hear much about the season.
I wouldn't be mad if I honestly I wouldn't be mad if they like didn't tell us anything beyond some cursory information about about the next season. Like they talk about Arc 3.0 or Solar 3.0, but leave out the story and some of that stuff and just let us experience it when it drops. I wouldn't be mad at that at all.
Yeah, that'd be super dope. Especially since about what was it, like a month and a half ago, they were all like Bungie on Twitter.
Yeah,
that's like, it feels like a recurring thing every other month now, though.
Yeah. Because they're doing rad shit every other month.
Every other month.
Yeah. So
Uncle Big Dan told us so.
Yeah. Shh. Uncle Big. Well, I outed him earlier, so that's on me. Fiverr Dan.
But yeah, I'll say Solar 3.0. I'll jump on that with you, Nim. But honestly, I would be fine with either one. There's so many different exotics and builds in the game right now that could kind of work with both. I can't wait for either one to come out and just kind of blow all of that wide open the same way Void 3.0 did.
Yeah, Void 3.0 just did such a good job of of showing you there can be there were builds in Destiny 2, but and like Stasis pointed to that door and was like, there could be builds in Destiny 2, and then Void 3.0 was just like bet. And so whatever comes around the corner is just going to keep escalating that and propelling us into a future where like there's any number of builds that you could run in any subclass and you'd find your niche.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm very curious. Like, so I mean, obviously, it's pretty well known that like my time with the game has steadily kind of like declined over the past couple of like months and years. But like even when I was still playing on a regular basis, I was pretty much dedicated to Void. The maneuverability that I got out of it was pretty great. I do like a lot of the customization options that they gave you with like the aspects and fragments and stuff like that. And I'm really really hoping that whatever they bring out with Solar and Arc will get me to play those subclasses, because I honestly cannot tell you when was the last time I used either a Solar or Arc subclass in as a Warlock. It's either been crowd control with stasis or fucking make everything explode with Void.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that those changes are very noticeable.
If Void 3.0 is any indication, it will be. And just because they knocked that so hard out of the park, it would suck real bad. if they're like Arc 3.0 and it just like was a wet fart,
Yeah.
Like it feels like they're kind of in a precision mode right now. When it comes to like the big sweeping things in Destiny, like some of the smaller things, like some of the bugs and whatever, even those have been like surprisingly like low, I feel like in this season, outside of like strikes and things like that. But
yeah, it's been tame.
Yeah, I've been like pretty impressed by the quality of the release. As far as Witch Queen has been so far. So hoping that continues.
Yep, big same.
Yes, same.
We have Austin 8 or V2 Games. So what do we think of the new seasonal? What do we think the new seasonal exotic is going to be next season? My bet is on the trace rifle.
Ooh, you know what? I'll +1 on that. I'm feeling trace rifle too.
A trace rifle, interesting. Damn. That's.
So we got grenade launcher this season. Last season was what?
The season before last?
Yeah.
It was so long.
It was quite a while ago. I know we got Dead Messenger this season.
Daggers, right?
Agger Scepter?
Oh, yeah. The Scepter. That was last year.
Yeah.
Oh, and that was good.
Lawrence. Okay, so this season we got Dead Messenger and we got the heavy machine gun.
Oh, yeah,
so
you mean the garbage.
It's a fun machine gun.
Grand Overture.
Yeah, that's the one. So either maybe Tracer. No, because we had Lawrence Driver as a linear.
That was a linear. I did hear rumors about Trespasser coming back, which I think is funny. Odd, but funny. We'll take it.
I don't even remember what the exotic trait for that was. Wasn't it just, hey, it's a 3-bird?
It was like
no, that was
auto.
Promise.
Oh,
it was full. Mind. It was full auto, and like I think like an extended. I don't know. Like I have to look it up. It's been so long.
Yeah, because like I feel like
an extended burst or something like that. Yeah, Chad's saying a super burst. That's what I remember. It's like you get a kill, and then it was like, and then it like dumps its magazine in a super burst of damage. It was real good up close because it was like an anti-shotgun weapon, but good luck hitting anything even at mid range with the burst.
Right. Yeah.
What do we feel like we're missing out of an exotic in Destiny 2 right now? Like
another exotic hand cannon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course.
We haven't seen one in a while. To be fair.
Yeah, we haven't gotten 3 per year for a while. So like, what's going on, Bungie?
So, like, something that would come to mind would be like a stasis bow. Just to kind of
that would be fun.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Just
You want to get me to use a bow? Make a stasis bow.
Nim, I
Make
want you
it
to use the
ice.
bow. But like, yeah, that's something that I would they do another exotic glaive? They just released 3. It's a kind of like a wet fart.
Yeah.
And although those are getting, or
They're getting buffs.
yeah. But I think like a stasis bow would be interesting. I'm trying like a shotgun. We haven't seen a shotgun in a while. Wasn't the Fourth Horseman the last seasonal? That was.
Oh no, we got that slug shotgun.
Duality.
Duality.
There we go. And so that
year or
was a
two
couple
ago.
seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen an exotic sword since what? Lament?
Yeah. Auto rifles was Tommy's Matchbook the last auto rifle that we got. The season pass.
I do believe so. Yeah, I think Tommy's might have been the last exotic auto out of the pass.
Yeah.
So basically, there's a lot of options here.
Yeah.
Could literally be anything.
Yeah. And like I would expect them to do something that they feel maybe is missing from the exotics.
Yeah.
Overall. I wouldn't think that it would be like a heavy machine gun. Could be a fusion rifle.
About an exotic fusion rifle.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
So there's a lot of different options. An exotic sniper. But I don't know exactly. Nobody knows. First of all.
Yeah.
But
we have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, it is a it is interesting. I would hope for like a stasis bow. I think that would be cool.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, now you have me wanting a stasis bow, Dan.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's what I would want it to do. Are you guys ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay. So it would hit a target, freeze it, and then ricochet once and hit a second target to freeze it.
Ooh, interesting.
Ooh, so it kind of bounces between targets.
Yeah, it would go da and then that's it. Like any more than that, I feel like you're asking for it to be like nerfed, but it would go hit those 2. You'd have your Hawkeye moment, and then that's it.
Yeah, so almost
That'd
like
be
a
pretty
bow.
cool.
Yeah, a bow with ice flares built into it.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it
dig
doesn't freeze the second one. Maybe it does slow the second.
Yeah. I dig it.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. What about
Yeah,
you
that'd be
guys?
pretty
What would you
sick.
like to see?
Honestly, I really don't know. Like, I was thinking trace rifle, but then you guys reminded me about Aggers. We just got that a season ago. The bow idea sounds really cool. Honestly, I have no expectations for whatever new seasonal exotic is going to be coming. And I think that's all probably exactly where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it's going to be a major surprise to me.
Right.
Perfect answer.
Thank you for taking my perfect non-answer.
If you were a politician, I swear.
Excellent work.
What about you, Nim?
Oh man. I don't know, dude. It's so hard to say. I really want a stasis bow now, thanks to you.
Yeah. Like mixing in ice flares with headstone, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. Like being able to shoot out like an icicle,
Yeah.
like just like tracks once it hits the floor or something. Oh my god. Bro.
Yeah,
I want it.
agreed, bro.
Hand it over right now.
Bro.
Hand it over.
All right. Well then, last question of the night
Let's do it.
comes from King of Questions himself, Gray Fox 2K30. It is the 15th of May in 2022. Would you recommend Destiny 2 to anyone new coming in.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think the state the game is in right now, where it's free to play on a lot of different platforms. The amount of content that's in there, the accessibility of that content. Anybody who's never played D2, or even people who haven't played for a long time, now is the time when I would absolutely say, hey, yeah, jump back in. There's plenty of stuff for you to do, plenty of stuff for you to go for, and you don't have to spend any money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I recommended it to somebody a week or two ago who said they'd give it a shot, that they always wanted to try it, but they felt like they'd be too far behind. And I told them, yes, you would have been previously, but the game is in a state now where you can jump in, you start at a base level of power that everybody started at, and you can get caught up to the relevant content really, really quickly. Plus, if you want to dive into some of the newer bits of content, you can buy Witch Queen. Witch Queen's got a great story. By the end of it, you're going to be not quite in-game adjacent, but definitely towards the end game. You'll be in the 1500s. So there's so much to do in Destiny right now. Now we're on the cusp of a brand new season of content, which is going to have its own free stuff. Yeah, I would absolutely recommend D2 to anybody.
What about you, Nim?
Yeah, I mean, what's the harm? It's a free to play game now, so like there's loads to do, loads to kind of catch up on. I mean, yeah, man.
So I'm going to say no, just to be a contrarian. I want my KD to go up.
Okay.
And that can only go up if there's less people in it. So
what do you mean? You get to feed on all the new people, Dan.
Look, I don't get put in that pool. I only get put in that pool if people quit.
Yeah. Man's got a point.
No, I'm fine. Of course I would recommend it. Like I there's so much you can find a niche in Destiny 2 better than I feel like you could ever before now.
Yeah.
So especially with the 3.0s coming out, when it comes to abilities, it's a big sandbox.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see where it goes. Of course, if you're looking to try it out and you're just like, hey, I want to pop into this podcast about this game that I'm thinking of course, definitely try it. Just know that it will hopefully gather you around people in a community that you enjoy. It will take hours of your life, but bring joy to your life. So hopefully, those things happen.
There's a lot there in Destiny, and I think we're at a point where there's really kind of something there for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Would definitely recommend.
Except for people who are really into setting tiles in games. You can't set tiles. You can't build
No.
maps. You can't skateboard.
That's a different game.
Yeah. You can't skateboard in Destiny 2 right now?
Not yet.
You can't have maidens?
No, definitely maidenless in Destiny 2.
Yeah, you're maidenless in Elden Ring. I don't know what you're talking about.
Dang.
you get told that real quick at the beginning of the game, my guy.
No maidens.
No bitches.
So if you're okay with that, come try Destiny.
Yeah,
it's free.
Try Destiny.
All right. Was that it? Is that the last question?
You know what? Yeah, that was it. That was the final question.
Well, right on then, ladies and gentlemen. That brings us to the end of episode 305 of the Planet Destiny podcast. The last one before season 17 begins.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It's been a ton of fun. We came back, covered, I think, pretty much everything we intended to cover. I think we hit everything on all the bullet points we set up before the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent work, gentlemen. This is what professionalism is. A round of applause for all of you. Good stuff. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Of course, before we get on out of here, we are going to let you know where you can find us all across the internet if you want to follow up on the dailies of our lives. Starting off with the man with the uncle who secretly works for Bungie. I'm pretty sure that uncle is also just still Dan, but with a bigger fake beard on. Mr. Danfinity, where can they find you?
My bill for flying back and forth between here and Washington is intense, especially
It's
when
a
you do
long
that.
con.
Especially when you do that every day. I got to get back to the airport right now. Hi, my name is Danfinity. You can find me on Twitch 3 days a week, twitch.tv/Danfinity. I've been helping people with PvE content for a while. I'm probably going to take a break from VOW again because it makes me hate people.
No.
And you can catch me there, hanging out downtown by myself and helping other Guardians out with content. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and the TikTok at Danfinity, where the eyes are L's. I swear that if you send me a TikTok to watch, I will agonize over the anxiety to watch it only for 5 minutes, and then I'll end up watching it and either enjoying it or not, and I'll never tell you. So, so yeah, feel free to hit me up on those platforms. Who's next?
Nim, how about you, man? Where you at?
Primarily twitter.com/NimPlays if you want to get in touch with me and see any of the stuff that I put out, whether if it's short game clips or any screenshots of games that I'm particularly playing at the moment. Currently playing a whole lot of Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Playing it right now.
I think
Been playing it through the entire podcast.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
It's so good. It's so good.
I need to break the seal on that. I'm breaking it this week.
stop.
Have you not played it yet, Dan?
I have not played it yet because I'm worried. Nem, remember how I said Jenny would leave me?
Yes.
All those years ago when I was like,
Yes,
I can't do
yes.
that, Nem.
Yeah.
She will definitely do that, and then I will be maidenless in real life, and I just can't. I can't get that deep in.
Mm-hmm.
The scope, the sheer scope of the size of this game is absolutely mind-boggling. I have 5 characters, like almost
Jesus
fully built.
Christ.
I have about almost like 300 or I'm nearing 400 hours on the game.
Yeah.
And just the day before yesterday, I found several areas that I have never seen before, and I found weapons that I have never seen before. in this game.
See, you're saying this right now, and she's sending me video of her packing her bags, and that's just you talking about it.
Well, then you're going to have a whole lot of time to explore, my friend. Oh my god. Yeah, it's so good. Tara, I will absolutely never stop. You're next. Hold it.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, that's where you can find me, or the occasional stream over at twitch.com/NimPlays.
Right on. Make sure you guys go and check him out there. And of course, my name is The Black Link. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at The Black Link. Hope y'all weren't expecting a live stream this week. I've got double shifts at the office all week long. I have no idea how I'm even going to be able to do Destiny videos for the PD channel. I still got to work that out because it is going to be a long behind week for me. But beyond that, should have some time off coming up a little bit after that, so I might be able to actually enjoy Season 17 when that goes live.
Heck yeah.
In the meantime, games that I've actually been playing, a lot of Division 2. We just had a new season of content go live in that game this week. Title Update 15, Season 9 just began. So I've kind of been back in that, making new builds, getting new gear sets, getting new exotics and all that kind of stuff. Having a lot of fun. Division 2 is odd. It's kind of going on like Destiny 2 is, where rather than putting out the next iteration of the game, they're just building upon what they already have there. And I like it. It's going to be having a major content release, I do believe, later this year, like their next big expansion / DLC. And so if you've been looking for a time to get in Division 2, it's free this weekend, although the weekend might be over by the time you've heard this. But peep that, they oftentimes make Division 2 free for weekends. So if you've ever wanted to jump into it, there's a lot of stuff doing it now.
Oh man, I haven't played that in a while. I was telling you the other game that I'm playing right now is Dorf Romantic.
Yeah.
And it is so cozy and chill.
And you've streamed it, right?
Yeah, just a little bit here and there. Me cursing at trees. That's been pretty fun.
That's all right. It's all about maintaining that zen.
Fucking
trees. Oh, zen moment. That's the exotic I expect to come back.
Oh, okay. There we go.
There. Now we can say now I'm not a damn politician. I gave an answer.
Dynamite with a laser beam.
Dynamite with a laser beam. What a...
Guaranteed to blow your mind.
100%.
All right.
We love the queen. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for episode 305 of the Planet Destiny podcast, your guide to This Week in Destiny. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.